Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Movies That Matter. I am your host, Chris Flaherty. Thank you for joining us. Happy holidays. Once again, we are right in that sweet spot between Christmas and New Year's. Hope you also had a nice fall, too. We haven't done an episode since September. But Liz is back, which is great. She's making sure I still do episodes for the podcast. Yeah.
Came home and was like, "Hey, I gotta get this in while I'm still here."
It's like, "Hey, why haven't you done anything since I left?"
I haven't seen anything since the La La Land episode, and I kind of remember the guest on that one. So
yeah, Liz Gillespie, the biomedical engineering major from UC Davis, BHS class of 2021, former B News sports reporter here at Burlington Cable Access TV, and just like a lifelong buddy. Yeah. And we're talking The Amazing Spider-Man today, which was released 10 years ago.
Oh my god, is it actually 10 years old?
July 3rd, 2012. I knew it was 2012, and I was like driving to work today. I'm like, oh, it's been 10 years. Ouch.
Oh my god. That didn't even register with me.
Yeah, I'm going to blow your mind. You know whose birthday it is today?
Whose birthday is it today?
Stanley's.
Wait, I think I saw something about that, but I didn't actually register that until I read that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you know when...
I did know that, but I saw something about him, but I didn't, read it. I was just like, oh, someone's honoring Stan Lee today. That's nice.
Yeah.
Good for them. Oh, yeah. I guess it is, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's a crazy coincidence.
We're doing this at the right time, then.
Yeah. So
I'm
happy
glad
birthday,
we're getting this
Stan
in.
Lee.
Happy birthday, Stan Lee.
Yeah. Amazing Spider-Man, July 3rd, 2012, directed by Mark Webb, starring Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, Dennis Leary, I can never pronounce his name, Rhys Ifans.
Oh, yep.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, close enough.
I feel silly. Do we have to say what this film's about?
Give just a quick, brief synopsis for those who haven't seen this for some reason, or don't know the Spider-Man origin story. Peter Parker, your average high schooler, photographer, falling in love with his classmate Gwen Stacy from a distance, goes to Oscorp, accidentally gets bitten by a radioactive spider, and, the rest is history.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's all there is to it.
There you go, that's Spider-Man. And that's it, roll credits.
That's it, roll credits. Although they did kind of add, some backstory with his parents and stuff.
Yeah, this one's a little deeper.
Yeah, they try to establish I want to say a Hydra level backstory with Oscorp.
Yeah, they do. They really do add a lot of sinister layers to it, as opposed to just having this corporation that's people end up going to. They really add more behind it as well. Yeah,
and then with the second one, we see they're sort of orchestrating all the villains and stuff. So basically, Oscorp was the anti-Shield for these movies.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, because this was 2012, and Sony was trying to catch up to the MCU with all they had, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're cashing in on the fame that Iron Man was starting to
exactly.
pull in. Yeah.
Well, this was the same year we got the Avengers, and then...
Oh, yeah, oh my god, that's also 10 years old.
Yeah.
This is just going to be me blowing my own mind while being here.
Yeah. And then a few weeks prior, The Dark Knight Rises came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it was a big formative year for the superhero genre.
Has anyone talked about the Avengers yet? Just out of question?
No, not yet.
I could talk about that.
As far as we have not touched the MCU at all on this podcast.
I figured that enough people would want to talk about that I tried to diversify a little bit, but I don't know.
We've been MCU adjacent, I
Interesting.
think. We're almost MCU adjacent with this.
We're going to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to touch on a little bit of MCU.
I can't come here to defend Andrew Garfield without bringing up No Way Home.
Yeah, so Andrew Garfield is your favorite Spider-Man.
He is my favorite Spider-Man. He has been one of my favorite Spider-Man even before Tom Holland joined the picture. Because I didn't grow up on the Tobey Maguire ones, interestingly enough. I didn't watch them until recently, and even then I can't really say that I've sat down and been I want to watch the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. In all honesty, I'm not the biggest fan of Tobey Maguire. I don't think he's bad. I think he does a good job, but I just don't have as much of a connection to those movies, or they don't resonate with me as much, and I don't really think about those ones as much.
Yeah.
And before I watched this one, the only real iterations of Spider-Man that I'd ever really watched, other than just kind of knowing that Spider-Man existed was, like, some Disney XD cartoons, like Spectacular Spider-Man.
Love Spectacular Spider-Man.
I had watched that a good amount. I wasn't, like, super into it, but I did watch it when it was on, and so I enjoyed it. But I always liked the character of Spider-Man, but I never really watched much that really connected me to him. And then these movies came out, and if I remember correctly, and I might be getting this wrong, I'm pretty sure I watched the second one before I watched the first one, weirdly enough. I don't really know why I did that, but I remember watching the second one with my mom, and then realizing that we kind of missed a step in the process of watching it. I don't even remember. We
missed something.
Kind of missed something. So I had watched. I think I watched the second one before I watched the first one, and the second one gets a lot of slack for it. Like, a lot of people don't like that one. I loved it.
Oh, you
when
did?
it first came out.
Good.
I think part of the reason was I didn't know people didn't like it, so I just watched it and I went, this is awesome. I'm having a great time watching this.
I like parts of 2. I don't, as a whole, I don't love it.
Rewatching it, I can see more. Again, this was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was still in single digits.
I was not. I'm a little older than you.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I'm 19 right now, so when this movie came out, I was 9. So I was... When did the second one come out? 2014?
Yeah.
So...
Trying to do my math. How old was I in 2012?
So when the second one came out, I would have been 11.
Okay. I was 21, I think. Yeah, I was 2012, I was 21. 2014, I was 23. Yeah?
Yeah.
Sure.
We don't need... I was told there'd be no math.
Time is a false construct.
Yeah, exactly. Age is just a number, but...
exactly. But
yeah.
you didn't grow up with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
I didn't grow up with the Tobey Maguire one, so this was, like, the first, like, cinematic iteration of a Spider-Man that I'd ever seen. And, again, the first one that I ever watched was Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I phrase it as my critical thinking skills weren't, like, super great when it came to movies yet, so I just kind of watched stuff and I went, I like it.
That was good.
Exactly, I did that a lot. I did that with a lot of movies, and this one is included. But even, like, now, I went and watched Amazing Spider-Man 2 relatively recently, last year, with my roommate. Granted, I was watching it at 1 in the morning, but I still do... I understand why it gets as much criticism as it does, but at the same time, I still really liked it. Like, I do think that it's not a perfect movie, by any stretch. There are certainly many flaws to it, but that doesn't take away from just the fact that I like it.
Yeah.
And that's what this podcast's all about.
Yeah, it matters.
It still matters.
No, there are far worse comic book movies to watch than The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? Because we were talking so much about Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, we'll go back to the first one now.
The first one.
The first one. So I went back and watched the first one after my mom and I realized that we'd kind of, like I said, skipped a step. So we watched it 2 years after it came out. So we watched it just on our couch at home because we were like, yeah, I want to watch more of it. And the first one is certainly better than the second one. So it was more fun because it was, again, critical thinking skills weren't still 100% there because I was 11. I was like barely in middle school at that point. So...
what stuck out in that first viewing?
The first view, I just really liked, I think the thing that I liked the most about it was just Andrew Garfield's charm himself.
He's a very good Spider-Man.
He's a very good Spider-Man. And I think that there's a lot of people with No Way Home that have come out and just been like, Andrew Garfield's always been my favorite Spider-Man. And it's like, no, it wasn't.
No, you're all bandwagon fans.
A lot of people are lying about that. Because before this, everyone's like, he's not great. I've always thought he was a really good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I understand the criticism towards him not being a great Peter Parker because they kind of built him up as, like, a little bit more of a cooler guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of a loner, but, like, he's a photographer, but he's not, like, a nerdy dude by any stretch.
I'd say he's, like, a modern nerd in a way.
That's a good way of putting it. He's not, like, the nerdy character that people expect Peter Parker to be, though.
Right.
He's not, like, he's a smart guy. He's a photographer. He's kind of sticks to himself, but, like, he's a skater guy now, too.
Yeah, because for years, Spider-Man was like, or Peter Parker was like, the big glasses,
Yeah.
the Millhouse glasses, and the bow tie and the sweater vest. Like, that's the stereotypical nerd that he was portrayed as for years. And Tobey Maguire, definitely, he had the glasses. He didn't have the sweater vest, though.
Yeah.
Would have liked to have seen it, but still mad about it. No.
But I thought that he was his Peter Parker was just a really cool guy, because again, I hadn't really thought too much about Peter Parker being too much of a nerd at that point, because it was one of my first Spider-Man that I really like paid attention to. But I was like, he's such a cool guy. Like, I thought he was cool, and then like as Spider-Man himself, he really does have the charm that Spider-Man is supposed to have.
Right.
Like, kind of just, like, quick-witted, like,
ready
to make a little quip at everybody. And just, I had a particular scene in mind, and the scene in the gym with Flash. With the basketball.
Yeah.
That is a great scene. I love that scene with all my heart, because, like, that's really, like, the cockiness is coming out. Like, you can see his confidence really building, and then kind of, oh, I've got powers now. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And he realizes that he can have some fun with this. He realizes he can, like, actually do something with this. It's kind of like, it's a realization for himself, but then also just kind of, like, building the character even further with that.
Yeah. Great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
And all that. I'm going to date myself. I grew up with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films. And I'm definitely with you. Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man, because I just look back on the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, and there's definitely some good stuff in there, and I still enjoy. But to me, they're kind of like the Christopher Reeve Superman films, where they haven't aged super well. They're a little cheesy, with the exception of 2, which I find to be one of the best superhero movies.
That is a good... I just forgot the word that I was going to use. That is a good comparison to what it is, because I think that the Andrew Garfield ones, in comparison to both the MCU ones and the Sam Raimi trilogy, is that these ones are grittier than the other ones. They're significantly more gritty, and I think that gives Spider-Man an interesting edge to have, where it's the same backstory that they all have, other than the additions of, like, adding in, like, the lore behind his parents as well. Which I think really adds more to it. Like, you don't really think about it in the other ones. You're just like, oh, yeah, Uncle
he
Ben
just got
and Aunt May.
bit by the spider. And
he's just living with these people instead. And but, like, having the lore behind what what happened to his parents, and then the lore behind, like, the actual origin story of Uncle Ben. I almost just said spoilers to Uncle Ben dying.
What?
I'm sorry, you never told me about that. But it does add, like, more to it. It's not just this kid. You can really tell that there's a lot of edge behind the things that he does, his connection to, like, his family. And that just, when you think about, like, what happened to his parents, that makes what happened to Uncle Ben even more tragic. Yeah. That really pushes it even more. Because, like, in the other ones, it's just like, oh, Uncle Ben, who is my father figure, died.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's like, oh, he lost his parents, like, notably, but then also lost another person that he sees as a family member. Yeah. And that makes, like, his drive to protect Aunt May even more, like, powerful, because you're like, it's not only, like, she's, like, my mom figure, it's all he has left.
Right.
So, like, you can really see his drive throughout both of them, like, more towards her. Like, that adds more character to him in that respect.
Yeah. He's got a lot more to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
In this movie. Or there's definitely some weight to what's at stake. Whereas, we're told in the Tobey Maguire movies that his parents are gone, but Uncle Ben is just kind of like a drive-by. Literally. Sorry. Sorry,
Spoilers.
Folks. I disrespected Uncle Ben with I mean, great power comes great responsibility. But yeah, there's definitely, like, if you look back at the Tobey Maguire ones, like,
they're cartoony in comparison.
They're very cartoony, even right down to, like, Tobey Maguire having, like, the fist fight in the hallway with Flash Thompson, played by a young Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
I couldn't say it either if I tried, so. But, like, it really does add, like, a different edge to it. It's not that it's more realistic, it just makes it's kind of like the Chris Nolan Batman versus almost said the Adam West version, but like, yeah, I guess you could take the Adam West version versus the Christopher Nolan version, and kind of like compare those two off of each other, where it's grittier, it's more realistic, and it just feels like there has more at stake behind it than just kind of, oh, here's Spider-Man, he's gonna go be a hero. It's Spider-Man has to go be a hero. This is what he needs to do for himself as well.
Now, have you heard, I'm sure you've heard I don't know who came up with this, but it's been said by probably hundreds of people that, like, Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker, Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man, Tom Holland is the best of both. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I guess. I still, I'm very biased towards Andrew Garfield. I, really love his character a lot.
That's why we're here.
But at the same, clearly. Yeah. But at the same time, I do think that Tom Holland is a really good Spider-Man as well. And when it comes down to it, why I think I like the Tom Holland version a lot is because of that. It really isn't anything against Tobey Maguire, but just, because I don't have the same connection to him, I don't really think of him as the best at anything, particularly, again, that is no disrespect towards Tobey Maguire, but just, as somebody who grew up, looking at Andrew Garfield as, what I think the ideal Spider-Man is, and then having Tom Holland come in, but have a very different Spider-Man as well, but kind of still... Tom Holland's really just adds, the younger edge to it, I think. That's what makes him really well done with what he does. Because, both Andrew and Tobey were both, well into their 20s when they made this. But, not Andrew Garfield, but Tom Holland was, he had just turned 20 when he started playing Spider-Man. Or he was, he might have still been 19 when he was in Civil War, I think.
I think so.
So, he was still... basically a teenager. Yeah. Which really does dig in more to, Peter Parker, your 16-year-old, character. I think that is kind of what makes Tom Holland's really good, because it still has the edge of, he feels like a kid who was thrust into this, as opposed to, these other two who kind of just feel more adult, in a way. Where it's, both of them still feel like high schoolers, because they're playing high schoolers. Yeah. But Tom Holland, has the face of a kid still.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire, doesn't exactly have the face.
Exactly.
The boyish look.
Exactly. So it really feels, I think all three of them really bring a different energy to what Spider-Man is. And so, especially since you pair Tom Holland with Robert Downey Jr. The two of them work really well together, and kind of is he really does just feel like a teenager who kind of started doing something for fun and kind of has, the wit and charm of Peter Parker, but he really does feel like you just thrust the responsibility onto him as well. Whereas, Andrew Garfield's is a little bit more of, already had some grit to it, so it was, it wasn't he was thrust into the position, it kind of just felt like more of a natural step for him. And then, Tobey Maguire's Tobey Maguire version of all of that. So
right, it starts out as just it's very personal for him because he wants revenge for the person who revenge for Uncle Ben. Yeah, but then there's a bigger fish to fry towards the end of the movie. Exactly, with the lizard, and then it's sort of really okay. I have these gifts, I need to do something with them. Yeah, exactly. With great power comes
great responsibility. Yeah, with the it really, I'm going to just keep saying the same thing over again. It's okay. But, if anything, I think having a grittier edge to Spider-Man just makes him more, it just makes it more interesting. And then, when you pair him against Lizard, it's not realistic. That's not the right word that I want to use, because he's fighting a giant lizard. That's not realistic, but...
What do you mean?
But, when you think about, the Tobey Maguire version, he's fighting Green Goblin, just kind of, very super villain. He's very, cartoon villain type. Not that Willem Dafoe does a bad job with that, because, I saw No Way Home. You can't tell me he's not a good villain.
There's a reason they brought him back.
There's a reason they brought him back. But, Lizard feels more again, I don't want to keep using realistic, because that's the...
Grounded?
Grounded, yeah. I guess. Where it feels like there's more of a realistic touch to it, I guess. Yeah. Where it doesn't just feel like it doesn't feel directly ripped from a comic book, I guess. It feels like... I almost said it feels like a movie. Sorry, Harry Styles just got in my brain there.
Like a real go-to-the-theater movie. No, I think I get what you're trying to say, whereas, like, the villain is often, like, a dark shadow of the hero.
Yeah.
Where, like, Willem Dafoe, like, obviously he gets powers from his... I almost called it Super Soldier Serum. Which it kind of was in the comics. It kind of was, yeah. In the comics it was. I think it was. One of my friends is going to text me when they listen to this and be like, what the did you just say?
You're wrong!
But, like, the two of them are, like, you know, Peter's learning that I have this gift and I need to use it wisely, whereas Norman Osborn's like, revenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas I'm trying to remember, and because it's been a while since I watched it, we impromptu decided to do this today.
Yeah.
Connors used to work with his father in this movie, and he wants he wants his arm back.
Yeah, exactly. In a way, it kind of is very similar to the story of both of them, like, wanting to become, like, shadows of each other, where it was, they both kind of took radioactive animals in a way, and then just kind of used it very differently.
There's a lot of Spider-Man villains like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, there's the vulture, there's the rhino. I almost said there's an elephant. There's no elephant.
Unfortunately.
Not yet.
That's Amazing Spider-Man 3.
But they're both, they want to help people.
They both have the idea, instead of just, like, revenge as, like, their villain, or their motivation, they both are, like, grappling with this newfound, like, power that comes from the animal. But again, they're using it drastically differently, whereas Spider-Man himself is like, I am the one that needs to use this power. Again, great power comes with great responsibility. I need to use this power. I need to use it responsibly. I need to be the one to save what's going on and, like, help people because of it. While Lizard, on the other hand, is like, I found this power. I don't know why I would use this power for myself because there's other people that have struggled the way that I did. So I need to go build he uses it to build an army
of lizards.
Yeah. So instead of, like, I need to use my power responsibly, I'm going to grow the power around me.
Yeah. He wants to help people that have similar ailments to him. He wants humanity to evolve, but the route he takes is not super ideal.
Not exactly. That's not what you're looking for.
Like, No Way Home made a joke of it. He wanted to turn people into lizards. Yeah. So, because he thought that would help people.
He thought that was the way to go. But yeah, it really is just what is the best way of helping humanity? Both of them think that they're going to take the right route of that. Spider-Man thinks that he himself needs to be the one, because he realizes the cops aren't going to do anything.
Right.
Unfortunately. But,
Zing.
Sorry, Gwen Stacy's dead.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
We'll get there. But, yeah, he realizes that there isn't enough being done about crime that's happening, and he needs to be the one to step up and help that, while Connors is like, oh, there's people out there that are suffering. I know the way I know how to help these people.
I'll turn them into lizards.
Let's turn them into lizards. This is why I didn't want to use the word realistic to describe the lizard as a villain.
Grounded. And the connection between protagonist and antagonist is a lot more... It's more in depth in Amazing Spider-Man than it is in original Spider-Man.
It also does feel like it still is quite personal because because he has the connection with his dad and he knows that Oscorp really is, like, rooted in his family. So, and also Gwen has the connection to it. Again, we'll come back to her, but there's all of these things that he feels this personal connection to, and then when Connors, like, starts to take him in, like, personally and, like, as, like, mentor-mentee type deal, he's like, he realizes that he needs to be the one to really, like, step up to this. Yeah. Because, again, this is so personal to him that no one else is going to feel the same connection to it that he does. Yeah. Or has the power to step up to it the way that he does.
Yeah. With great power.
With great power.
That's the whole point, is learning, how not to abuse your gifts and use them the right way.
Exactly.
And each Spider-Man iteration has taken a different route with it, and we'll talk about the other ones.
We'll do a little segment on No Way Home. I feel like that's
or we have to talk about No Way Home.
That's we'll save that towards the end. Yeah. But that's an important thing to touch on.
There are two scenes that I love, and I want to run them by you. It's where he saves the kid from the car.
That is a great scene. Mm-hmm. That is a fantastic scene, because that is really, like, the most Spider-Man, like, personalized scene that you could come up with.
Yeah.
That is the Groot of anyone can wear the mask.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what Spider-Verse is trying to prove as well.
Yeah.
That's like anyone can have power, you just need to, like, know that you are strong.
Yeah.
And it's such a vulnerable scene as well. Mm-hmm. And it comes at a time that you don't expect it. Yeah. It's coming in the middle of this big CGI fight. That like, cars are being thrown off the bridge, and they take the time to pause.
Yeah.
And then they realize that, he can come off as... Because this is a point where everyone still kind of sees him as a villain as well, where it's just like, right. Spider-Man vigilante.
Yeah.
And he comes in and is like, I'm not gonna, like, just grab the child and go. Like, I need to do this and make sure that the kid is okay.
Yeah.
And make sure that the kid has the power to do this as well.
That's the first time he saves someone.
That's the first, like, legitimate time that he saves someone. And, like, it just happens to be this kid in the car. And that is such a vulnerable, well-executed scene. And again, that's really something that, like, at least, I don't remember from Tobey Maguire too well, but you don't see it as much from, like, Tom Holland. Like, there's the scene in No Way Home where he saves the MIT director on the bridge. Mm-hmm. But that's not the same. Like, that one feels like he needed to prove something almost, because it's, like, the MIT person that he's trying to, like...
And he's already very well-versed. Like, everybody already knows he's Spider-Man. He's been at it for a while.
But this was like, I'm going to take off the mask. I'm going to show you that I'm a person.
Yeah.
Because anyone can wear it. And if you want to feel strong too, like, you don't need to have the powers. You can feel strong too.
Yeah.
Just take the mask, and I can help you. And that's, like, a real... it's not an I'm here to save you. It's an I'm here to help you moment. Mm-hmm. Where he's being a hero, but not in, like, the superhero type route. It's I'm here to help you.
Well, it's like, again, we're going back to Spider-Verse, another podcast from this series. The quote that they put at the end with Stan Lee, like, someone that just decides to help because that's the right thing to do, that is what makes them a superhero, and that's what Spider-Man's all about.
Exactly.
And that sort of bleeds into the next scene I wanted to talk about, is the cranes. You know, when he's trying to get to Oscorp.
Yes.
And so all the cranes move.
Yeah,
and it's the father of the boy he saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They realize that, like, hey, he really is here to help.
Yeah.
And when the person who's here to help us is struggling, we can help him too.
Yeah.
Anyone can have the power that not the power that Spider-Man has. He's just there as a vessel to show that anyone can be powerful in the right situation, in the right... When given the right resource, you can be powerful, or the right time, the opportunity. They saw their opportunity that they can help, and it was shown to them by a figure of power as well. And then that ends up really leading into just something even bigger. They helped a bigger cause without even really realizing it. And all they had to do was just move their cranes.
Yeah, exactly. It's so subtle, it's so powerful. I find it a lot more effective than the scene, and I keep knocking the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy, and I don't mean to.
I keep doing it too. Like, I have nothing against them, they just weren't.
The genre would not be here, or where it is today, without these films, but I just find the cranes moving to be a lot more effective than the bunch of New Yorkers on the bridge throwing trash at Green Goblin. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. Yeah,
exactly. Again, it goes back to the discussion of it's more grounded as opposed to feeling cartoony. Yeah. Or it's it doesn't feel like just a story ripped from a comic book. It feels like something that, like, could happen, but again is more grounded in reality, where it's like you feel more of a connection to it, where it's not just a story that's being told to you. It's like a legitimate, like, story that could be happening. It feels like something you could see on the news.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because, like, at the time, like, we had Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, which just ended. And then, we had the Avengers, which were, doing all sorts of things like World War II films and Norse mythology films. So
Yeah.
I think other studios were like, all right, let's try to do something different. So let's try to be more grounded and realistic and stuff. And then I think Sony took the wrong lessons from the first Amazing Spider-Man and decided to overcorrect in Amazing Spider-Man 2 a little bit. And we'll talk about that later. Is it time to talk about Gwen Stacy and Emma Stone?
Let's go for Gwen Stacy and Emma Stone.
I'm still sad.
Yeah, me too. I like Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone more than I like MJ in either iteration.
Okay, good. Me too.
I'm glad that we agree on this. Emma Stone herself is just one of my favorite actresses. I love her to death.
I love it.
Clearly, as I talked about La La Land as well.
Yeah.
I love her to death.
It's all connected.
It's the Emma Stone CU.
Yeah.
ESCU.
The ESCU.
I love her. I think that she really does bring a good just charm to the movies as well.
Yeah.
And her and Andrew work so well together.
So well.
They
have dated.
Exactly.
In real life, yeah.
They have incredible chemistry with each other, and they just really have a good balance to each other as well. Where it's like, Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker is a smart guy, but you know that she's the smart one here.
Yeah.
You know that she is like a good standalone character as well.
Yeah.
Like, she's smart, she's active, she is take charge, she's confident. She can hold her own in situations that she needs to. And you can especially see that in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think she's phenomenal in Spider-Man 2. And I think that's part of the reason why I like Spider-Man 2. Because I just think that they did a really good job with Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Other than that scene. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I won't go there. Everything before that, I think she's a phenomenal character before that.
Right. No, it's an equal partnership.
It really is.
She is not a damsel in distress.
No, if anything, he tries to damsel in distress her, and she's like, no.
Yeah.
No. I'm going to go make the serum. I'm going to go help you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go be the one. She knows Oscorp like the back of her hand at that point, because she also has the same connection to Connors. Or not the same one, but a very similar one where it's a mentor-mentee relationship.
Yeah.
She works very closely with him. She looks up to him. And so to see what he's become, it hurts her too. And she knows that she also needs to do something about it because she's capable of doing something about it in a different way than he is. But she knows that he can't do this without her.
Right.
And so she steps up and is like, I'm going to go do this.
Yeah.
So both of them have their own powers. She doesn't have superpowers, but she's a badass. She's going to go take her own charge. Mm-hmm. And so, and it's not that either MJ isn't that. I think Zendaya is great as a character. Great. But she doesn't have the same sort of,
agency? Urgent? I said agency. I don't know if that's the right word.
She doesn't have the same, take charge attitude, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Where it's, Gwen is I'm gonna go be a hero on my own route, where it's I can, especially in Spider-Man 2, where it's she's valedictorian. She's in the first one, that she's the number 2 under Connors with the group that she's working with. She's going to Oxford, for God's sake, in the second one. She's a force to be reckoned with. And it's not that Zendaya's going to MIT. MJ is going to MIT. It's not she isn't, but she really. Here, I'll phrase it this way: MJ feels more like a love interest. That's her primary thing, where Gwen is a secondary character who happens to be a love interest as well. Yeah.
I would say Zendaya is she's the comic relief.
Yeah.
For, I'd say, the first 1.5 Spider-Man movies in the MCU. Mm-hmm. And then she becomes the romantic interest by the end of Far From Home. And then in No Way Home, I think she starts to have a little more.
Yeah, she needed time to build up to it.
Yeah.
Where Gwen Stacy out the gates was already... she was ready off the gates, and then just happened. It was MJ sort of falls in love with Spider-Man, where,
which MJ? Not I'm getting.
I'm still talking about the MCU version.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it's kind of applicable to Tobey Maguire's one as well, but
they live next door to each other in the Raimi films, and I think she liked him, and then she also liked Spider-Man, and then I don't know. This is this whole thing.
There's too many of them.
Yeah.
But I also like the route that they took of having Gwen Stacy and not just another MJ. I think that also like sets him apart and sets both of them apart from the MCU and the Raimi versions.
Well, Gwen was the original love interest in the comics before
right.
Mary Jane. Mary Jane didn't come around until that thing that happened. Ouch.
Pain.
Oh, so much pain.
So much pain. But they also, I'll touch on that quickly. I'm kind of glad that they did include that in the way they did, because we're not even referring to what happened. We're just talking about pain, which shows that we have a connection to that scene. We have a connection to that character.
I knew it was coming the second, Emma Stone cast as Gwen Stacy. I'm like, oh my god, no.
Uh-oh.
I was like, okay, well, they're gonna do that eventually.
They're gonna get to it.
And 2 films in. I'm like,
there it is.
Ow.
It's there. But that just shows how much that, they built up Gwen to be a character that we care about. Because, that scene hurts. That scene hurts.
Well, I remember my heart racing.
And also...
I'm just like, maybe just don't do it. I'm just saying hey, maybe just twist this around.
Maybe they could save her from this, please.
Yeah.
Please.
No, yeah. Still hurts.
I remember when I watched that for the first time, because, again, I watched that before I watched the original. My mom and I were both like... They didn't really do that, right? They didn't do that. She's not dead, right? She's still here. Both like, she's still here. But it was like I was going through the 5 stages of grief over this character. I was in denial. The minute I saw it, I was like, that didn't actually happen. It didn't happen.
Yeah. I
still haven't reached acceptance yet, but
no. Well, No Way Home kind of helped.
That's true. No Way Home got us there a little
helped.
bit better. But at the same time, they, really built up a great character to a point where it's, especially, throughout the events of the second one where they're, kind of broken up for a little while, where you're just, you two...
Also frustrating.
Which is frustrating,
just be together.
Because it's you two are perfect together.
Yeah.
They're so good. They have great chemistry. They're both really good, independent characters, and then you put them together. It's not you just have a love interest for the sake of having a love interest. You have an actual, character who is motivated, but also acts as a motivation.
Yeah.
A motivated motive.
Motivated motive.
And she does that really well. And also, there's a scene in the first one where it's just her talking to her dad. The scene where Peter is having dinner with her family is such a very, simple scene. Mm-hmm. And there's moments of it that are a little cringy.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's, I think, what anyone would feel in that scenario where you're having dinner with your significant other's family for the first time.
Yeah. They really kept... And then, the scene on the balcony where they're both kind of what are we doing here? What's going on? And then he, grabs her and then, pulls her in.
Grabs her with the web,
Yep,
too.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, I was like, oh, why can't that be me? That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's such a... again, it's very simple, and it's very... But at the same time, it's very grounded in reality, where you can both tell there's a good romantic tension here.
Yeah, I think that is the best part of this duology, is Peter and Gwen's relationship.
It really is. They did a fantastic job with that. I think they do have a good job of, Peter as Spider-Man as well, but I think that it really is outshone by how well those two characters are together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As much as it pains me to say this, I think Gwen's death needed to happen.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because, I mean, he kind of sets himself up for a heartbreak when he, what does he say? Don't make promises you can't keep.
Yeah,
but those are the best kind.
Yeah.
I was
again, a little bit of a cringy ending, but
yeah. But I'm just the dad told you not to do it.
Yeah, it's you're asking for it at this point. Come on.
But it's a lesson I think a Spider-Man needed to learn, because how many times have I said this? How many times have we said it? With great power...
What are you going to say?
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
And it's all about, Spider-Man's whole thing is, he has to keep his identity secret because he wants to protect his family and the people that are closest to him.
Exactly.
It's something that every Spider-Man in film has learned one way or another, be it 1 film or 2 films or 3 films, which we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I know they wanted to do a third one, and I've read about the plans for the third one, and I'm like, okay, good, never mind. And all the planned spin-offs and stuff, but I think they wrap 2 up in a nice way, where it's like, okay, these work kind of nicely together as a bookend.
I think so.
And
yeah.
That I loved that final scene with the kid in the Spider-Man costume.
Yep.
And then Spider-Man shows up, and
Yep.
love that.
It's really good. I think, and also I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but I think that Andrew himself as Spider-Man is really good as well. I think that, like, they kind of do a really good job of kind of making him, like, I think that Amazing Spider-Man has some of the best just, like, web-slinging scenes.
Yeah.
Like, just these scenes of him just traveling around New York, just, like, going, kind of making quips as he goes. Like, you really only see, like, that sort of charm from him.
Yeah.
And just, even, one of my favorite scenes, and this comes from 2, actually, is when he's, like, trying to move away from Electro, and they're, like, kind of going around, like, the little, like, power grid. That is an awesome scene, just, like, visually. Cool. That's a very well-done scene visually. Yeah. And, again, you don't really see anything like that from the other 2, I don't think.
Yeah, I didn't love Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I can't say he's my favorite either.
No.
But I think that it came with some very good visual scenes.
Yeah. No, the Times Square battle is very cool.
Oh, I like that scene a lot, actually.
Way to take advantage of, like, all the lighting and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, visually, I think they do a really good job with these 2 movies as well. Where it's, like I said, they do a really good job of just, like, having him go for fun around, like, New York, and then just other different battles where it's like they do a really good job of lighting in this one, where it's like a lot of like flashing lights, but in the right way. It's not just like, oh, they're just going strobe because they can. They do it in like a well done way.
Yeah. Also, Amazing Spider-Man 2, best Spider-Man suit for film.
Oh,
I think,
easily.
Ever. Yeah.
Easily. Yeah, it looks really good.
That's my favorite version. I like the first one from Amazing Spider-Man 1. I know like some people are like, oh, the eyes are weird and stuff, but I'm like, it's his first costume. Yeah. It's not going to be perfect.
He's trying.
He's not going to make a perfect one right off the bat like
no, exactly.
Tobey Maguire did. I mean, like, I don't know if you ever watched Daredevil.
I didn't, actually.
Yeah. Well, Daredevil just had, like, black sweatshirt and sweatpants for,
that
like,
I have
12
seen.
Episodes, so...
Oh, he did that for 12 episodes?
Yeah, he didn't get the red suit till the last episode of the first season.
Ah.
Yeah. So, you know, not every hero can create a perfect suit right off the bat.
There's a growing process.
There's a growing process.
I think they do a good job of showing his growing process throughout the first one as well.
Yeah,
they really do show him, like, growing into the character and into the hero as well. Like, having his, like, little moments where you can tell that it's, like, growing, and then, like, kind of having, like, a pinnacle of, like, he's really ready for this. And it's not that they don't have that in the others, but, like, I think that they do have a good job of, like, okay, he's Peter Parker. Okay, he's grappling with the fact that he's got powers. Okay, he's grappling with the fact that there's the responsibility of these other characters that he likes. Okay.
What was that word you said? It was the R word? What was it? What was it? R? Responsibility?
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 Is it?
Yeah. I think that was it.
I think that's the word. Yeah. Where you can tell he's grappling with, like, responsibility. He's grappling with, okay, he's now saved a kid. He's now starting this, like, this kind of vigilante type thing. Okay, he's grappling with how people view him. He's grappling with what he needs to do as himself. It's a very, like, almost a slow burn of getting to, like, actual, like, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad, in a way, I'm kind of glad they didn't do that with the Tom Holland ones, but I think it works really well for the Andrew Garfield ones.
Yeah, they took a much more, you want to talk slow burn, I think the MCU Spider-Man was much of a slow burn for an origin story.
Was or wasn't?
Was.
Oh, yeah, once you introduced him, yes, because at the same, because I think not having an origin story really helped him as well, just kind of, all right, you have somebody who has powers, and then, like, actually really growing him into a hero. Yeah. They did a really good job with that. I think, they took, Andrew Garfield had to do it with the origin story, so they grew it really well that way, but then, like, having, like, over a period of multiple movies, then they really did a good job with that with the Tom Holland ones. Yeah,
by the end of No Way Home, like, he really is, he is Spider-Man.
He's Spider-Man
by that point,
now, yeah.
Is it time to talk about No Way Home?
I think so, because we've been kind of dancing around it, but now's the time to get into this.
The movie that featured probably the worst kept secret in Hollywood history.
The worst kept and best kept at the same time. Andrew over here fighting for his life.
Fighting for his life. And now no one will ever trust a word an actor says again.
Nope, never again.
Charlie Cox was like, I'm not in Daredevil 3. Or no, Deadpool 3. I'm like, I don't believe you.
You sure about that?
No.
You sure about that, buddy?
What was your audience reaction in the theater?
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wonderful. I remember when Andrew came in, everyone just... But
Yeah.
it wasn't like shock or anything. It was like, yes, finally! But it was kind of had like the very excited gasps because I don't think my dad has ever seen either of the Amazing Spider-Mans. Or if he has, he doesn't care about them nearly as much as I do. And I know my mom has seen them because I have watched them with her. Mm-hmm. So all three of us have very different connections to this movie.
Yeah.
And I think all three of us,
Yeah.
when he came on screen, 'cause it was like, ooh, now it's getting saucy. Now we're getting somewhere. It's getting fun now. Not that it wasn't before, but that was like when it got really fun. And then I remember my mom, when Toby showed up, just started laughing.
Well, because he showed up dressed as a youth pastor.
He showed up just dressed as a youth pastor, and he's kind of like, hi, what's up? And my mom just started laughing. And I was like, I remember when he showed up, I was like, yes. I was like,
Well,
now
like
we're getting
they
somewhere.
open the portal, and you see the eyes of the costume. Like,
Yep.
that's not Tom Holland.
I was like, who's that over there?
Yeah. And the mask comes off, the whole audience cheers. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's
That scene of him coming in is, again, a very good comic relief scene, but it was also just a great scene in general.
Oh, yeah.
That is a well-done scene. I love Andrew Garfield and Zendaya playing off
I have
each
the
other.
single thing, it's just not for bread.
Is this enough? No. Crawl on the ceiling.
This is plenty.
No. Crawl on the ceiling. Put down the bread.
Can you get that cobweb for my aunt, please?
And he just goes up on... Crawl around a little bit.
I just love that happened after the most gut-wrenching scene in the whole movie.
Like, you're really hit with, like, this is real. Like, this is, like, there's some stakes here now. Mm-hmm. And then it's like,
we're happy again.
Oh, okay. Now we're feeling good.
No, we're happy again. And then immediately we're not happy again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we have to relive trauma from past movies.
The scene of them on the building, on the top of the school, when they both come down, is such a heart-wrenching scene.
I love that shot where you just see the silhouettes on the moonlight.
Yep.
Yeah.
When both of them just kind of hop down. And I think there really is a power in the choice of having Andrew still be like Spider-Man and having Tobey Maguire come down as Peter Parker. Having the duality of both what Tom Holland needed to see right there. It's like you have, like, you still need to, like, determine yourself as Peter Parker, but you really need to determine yourself as Spider-Man as well. Yeah. And so you have somebody who's, like, here to, like, show you your way as Spider-Man, but also somebody that's here to, like, show you your way as Peter Parker.
Yeah. Again, that's kind of the whole thing of, like, Andrew Garfield, perfect Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire is perfect Peter Parker, and
and
what are they dressed as?
Yeah, exactly. They're here as what they are. They're here to represent themselves and their characters, like where their characters should end up being. Yeah. And I think that I'm really glad that they did do No Way Home the way that they did, where it was explaining what their lives have been like up until the point that they needed to go see Peter. Right. Because having Toby be like, okay, I'm happy I have MJ. I'm living my life this way. And Andrew, again, very good, like, rested in the different vibes of what their respective series are like. Yeah. Where it's like, Toby has kind of the more happy ending, more, like, comic version of, like, where you're looking for something ideal. Where Andrew is, again, just kind of, he's gritty. He's, like, kind of living, like, he's stuck in this rut of being Spider-Man because he needs to go be the hero, especially now that he's experienced as much loss as he has. That whole
I'll call it a monologue that he does, just like, it broke me.
Oh my god.
And like, you cut to him after, I'm going to call him Toby, because, you know, if I keep calling everyone Peter, we're going to get confused.
Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3.
Toby's talking about how his Uncle Ben was killed. Then we cut to the shot of Andrew, his eyes are already watering.
Yep.
And he says, "I lost," and he gets choked up. I'm like, here we go again.
It's like, uh-oh.
Here we go again.
No. For some reason, just the quote, "She was my MJ," is just, it's very simple, but it's so powerful in its own right.
Yeah.
She was my MJ. Where it's just like, yeah. It's like, see, I understand you. I have my own pain, but that pain's also coming with loss from this character as well.
Yeah. I love how he ends. He's like, I got bitter, I got rageful, and I don't want you to end up like me. Like, that was like...
That really hits.
Yeah.
Like, there's really... It's not that there isn't an emotional connection behind Toby's character, but if you want, like, the emotional drive behind this movie, other than Tom Holland, who's clearly going through some things in this one.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But, like, you want, like, somebody who's going to drive home, like, some added emotion that you knew was coming, but you weren't really ready for, no matter how much you lied to yourself.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. He came in with the sucker punch on that one.
I'm remembering what, again, we're connecting all the Spider-Man films, what Spider-Ham says to Miles.
Yep.
And it's like, the hardest part of this job is you can't save everyone.
Yep.
And that is something that all three of them have learned separately through one way or the other.
I've seen a lot of people saying that if they ever wanted to make, like, Into the Spider-Verse live action, Peter B. Parker's Andrew Garfield's.
I heard they wanted to do that Toby was not available. Which is fine. I mean, they can still show up. We got 2 more Spider-Verse films coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's his name? I love Jake Johnson as Peter B. Parker, though.
Oh my God.
He's so good.
So good.
He's incredible. But
he is the Spider-Man I identify with most.
Yeah.
The aging Spider-Man that's been broken by life.
But at the same time, you can really connect the Jake Johnson version to the Andrew Garfield version, where both of them are, like, grappling with their own individual losses, how they weren't prepared for really what tasks they needed to take on and how it has affected them emotionally.
Yeah.
And how just kind of they don't want to take on the role of being an emotional mentor, but they know that they need to.
Yeah. They all sort of touch on what Spider-Man is, which is this young man who is struggling with balancing, his personal life with his professional life, and he has these gifts, and through hard life lessons, he learns that he can...
Getting emotional over there?
No, because I know what I have to say, and I've said it like 15 times.
I don't know where you're going to go with this one.
You know what I'm going to say.
I'll say it this way. In No Way Home, I really love that that quote that we may or may not have said a couple times was said by Aunt May.
Yeah, because she became, for better or worse, the Uncle Ben to the Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Because we really don't know what Uncle Ben's story is in the MCU.
Exactly. I think that was a very interesting choice of them to just have him already be gone and then just not have him be the emotional drive. And I think that was a very interesting choice.
They hinted at it in Civil War when he says, like, when you have the gifts that I can't, or I don't even know. Oh, come on, Chris, you can do this. When you can do the things that I can, and then you don't, and then the bad things happen, they happen because of you, which is another way to say. Yeah. I thought that was alluding to what happened with Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people thought. And then Far From Home, we see, like, his initials on the suitcase. And
yeah. So he is still, like, a part of the Tom Holland Spider-Man, but he just has a different connection to it. And then putting the emotional value onto Aunt May really adds something to it as well. Oh, yeah, quick thing. I like Sally Field as Aunt May.
I think she's great.
She's great.
She didn't like the movie, but I thought she did a great job.
She was good in that.
Yeah.
I thought she was good. I like in the second one where you can see that she's trying to find her own power as well. Like, getting out of the house knowing, like, she needs to go pick her own life up after not having Uncle Ben anymore. What was it she was doing exactly? She was
a nurse.
Yeah, she was a nurse. That's right. Yeah. I was like, she was doing stuff at a homeless shelter. But no, I'm thinking of
that's
Marissa Tomei. Yeah, I was thinking of Marissa Tomei.
Yeah. They may just getting progressively younger as the films go on.
Exactly. But I really liked the idea that they also gave her own, like, motives and storyline as well.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, yeah, she's got her own power as well that she's finding on top of, while while Peter's over here trying to figure out his own life, she's moving on as well and finding her own power, even through her loss.
Mm-hmm. Another canceled spinoff from Sony was going to be an Aunt May film. I'm not kidding. I think it was going to be a prequel, though.
Okay.
I kid you not. I think it was going to be like her younger days as a spy. I wish I was kidding. But
I love the lore behind
these.
The Amazing Spider-Man really have interesting lore choices.
You know what?
Though, wait, have you seen... I've seen this multiple times, and I'm not sure how they would ever put this into the movie. Have you seen I've seen this on Instagram a bunch. Like, the really emotional scene of Andrew Garfield, like, confronting his dad.
Yeah.
Have you seen that scene?
Yeah, that was cut from...
Yeah, that was cut?
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene, but I have no idea how they would try to implement that into the movie whatsoever.
I don't know how you even go forward with Peter Parker's father being alive.
Yeah.
I feel like that sort of takes something away from it.
I think the scene itself, like, watching that scene, how it's done, like, kind of gives props to Andrew as an actor.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He does a great job with that scene, but it just feels so shoehorned in that I'm really glad that they didn't include it.
Yeah, I mean... So much happens in Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's just like, all right, just take one thing away.
They kind of just took a wad of gum and just kind of chucked it at the wall for Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then just was like a little surprised that all of it stuck.
Maybe not all of it stuck.
It was all there.
Do you remember Felicia, or do you remember Felicity Jones was in the movie?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. They were just like, here you go. You're here, too.
She's going to be Black Cat at some point.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe. We'll see.
Find out in Amazing Spider-Man 3. Oh, wait.
Oops. Yeah, if North Korea didn't hack Sony.
I forgot.
Yeah.
That's right. That's real.
Yeah,
that's a real thing that happened.
The whole Seth Rogen, The Interview movie, North Korea wasn't too happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive that was.
Oh, my God. I just remember people being, like, afraid to go to the movie theaters to see The Interview because they didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
And you know what? I finally watched it on Netflix a year later, and I'm like, that was not worth almost starting a war for.
No. I've seen clips from it, and I was like, I've never seen the whole thing. I've only seen clips from it, and I'm like, this is what?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to see that they're doing well over there.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Spider-Man.
Yeah, back to Spider-Man.
Back to Spider-Man.
Yeah, off of North Korea and back to Spider-Man. What a world we live in.
What a world we live in.
Yeah, that was my little side tangent. To go to the credits of why I like what was I going to say? To the credit of Amazing Spider-Man 2, I like that they tried to do a lot with it, but it was not well executed. But I like the idea of having him fight multiple villains in one movie.
Yeah.
Again, that kind of could have been like a Sinister Six type deal, and I'm glad that they like tried to do it.
Well, that's what they were trying to build up to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm glad that they tried to get there. Mm-hmm. As much as it wasn't greatly executed, I like the idea of having him attempt to fight multiple demons of himself all at once. Mm-hmm. Because it kind of like shows that, like, again, he's trying to grow his own power at that point and trying to have him like deal with multiple things at once. Like, Dane DeHaan did not do great as a Green Goblin.
What was that?
Well, we're going to move past that. Not great.
Not even like, hey, remember me, your old friend Harry Osborn that I
you have zero chemistry with?
Yeah. Yeah, my old best friend Harry that I didn't talk about at all in the last film.
That's just never shown up before.
Yeah.
Whose father is dying that you've never seen before.
Played by Chris Cooper.
That's right.
With the most randomest of diseases that are just made up from, like, I don't know.
It's very strangely done, but I'm glad they tried to do it at least, because I think that, like, having... Because, again, not well executed.
No.
I will not say that. Or I will say that. But I'm glad that they tried to make it someone personal to him become a villain as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, while Lizard was personal to him from outside... from outer connections, where it was like, yeah, he's somebody who his dad knew. Oh, it's somebody that Gwen looks up to. Somebody that I can have a connection with. It wasn't somebody that was, like, rooted to him very much. Electro, just some guy on the street.
Some stalker fanboy.
Some guy who's just a little too excited.
I mean, that was a personal connection, but it was one-sided.
Yeah, it was a personal connection the other way.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they I'm glad that they tried it from both angles, though. Somebody who he has a personal connection to, and somebody who has a personal connection to him.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they tried to do that, and I think if they had done a little bit more with both of those, it could have been done really well.
Yeah.
So I like what they tried to do. What they did wasn't great, but I like conceptually what they tried to do.
I think I'm going down the list of all the Spider-Man villains in my head. I think most of them have had a personal connection with Peter Parker prior to becoming the villain, maybe, with the exception of the Vulture, Michael Keaton. That personal connection comes later.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then it's just like, oh.
What a doozy that was.
Oh boy, I remember watching that in theaters, going, huh? Wait, what?
Uh-oh. It's like the Simpsons Ralph Wiggum meme. I'm in danger.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
What was I going to say? I forgot about the two things that I really love from Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the final messages from those that have passed. You know, like Uncle Ben's voicemail.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. That is perfect to me.
Yeah. I've totally forgot about that, but now that you bring that up, that was, like, again, just another, like, added little personal level that just makes it just even more, brings the story a little bit more connected.
It's inspiring, too.
It is.
Like, I feel good when I hear it. When I'm going through a tough time and stuff. And then Gwen's, like, graduation speech.
I love Gwen's graduation speech so much.
Yeah.
I've watched that scene multiple times. I think I've gone out and just, like, looked that scene up on YouTube by itself as well. Because, again, I will adore Gwen Stacy as a character so much. And then having that scene, like, right at the beginning of the movie as well. Sort of foreshadow, like, the rest of the movie, but also sort of, like, empower you while you go through it.
Yeah. Even, and then in the first one, he doesn't listen to the voicemail all the way through until the very end. Mm-hmm. When, like, he really needs it.
Yeah, when he needs to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think this version of Spider-Man does more than the other two, which is, like, life is hard, but you have the power to get through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That really is, like, again, it's grounded in reality.
Yeah.
As opposed to being a comic book character brought to life. Mm-hmm. This is, like, a comic book character brought to... I keep hitting the mic. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm talking with my hands a lot.
It's all right.
That's been brought to life. Like, it has, like, some substance behind it. Like, it's for real.
They made him human.
Yes.
More human.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he already was human, but it's a more human story.
One thing that I have... What was I thinking about this in relation to? This is a depiction, or how I can vocalize something, and I don't remember why I've been thinking about this, but the idea of bringing to life a character or bringing to life a person when you create a story. Okay. If you create a character, you create someone who's kind of has a trait assigned to them, and then you play out that trait for the rest of it, where it's like, you're creating a hero, so they've become a hero, where it's like, if you create a person, you've created... traits behind them, a motive, an end goal, kind of what you want to see from... I really wish I remembered why I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this in the shower earlier this week. But I was thinking about it in relation to someone, and I don't remember what I was thinking about it in relation to. It wasn't this, but the idea of... how I think about it is, in terms of creating a character, you've created a nerd who became a hero.
Yeah.
That's what you could have created. But with this one, you've created a person. You created somebody who has, like some substance behind them before you even get to the hero, and then you get to them being a hero, you add some more substance to them. Like, you create, and then you add more to each character trait to them as they go.
Yeah.
It's not just you created a character with a trait, and then they're going to have that trait with them. Maybe you have a little bit of change, but that's a character.
Yeah.
You've created a person who has morals, who has opinions, who has... not just, like, a trait or two assigned to them. You've created a person.
Yeah. It's making a character more three-dimensional.
Exactly.
And accessible to your viewers and your audiences. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Wow, we've passed the 1 hour mark.
Oh my god, I didn't think I was gonna be able to do it.
Yeah. What do you mean?
For just deciding to do this today, I didn't come like super prepared, and I figured I was just gonna come and be like, I think Andrew Garfield did a good job with Spider-Man.
And I agree.
Awesome.
We didn't even talk about how he saved MJ in No Way Home.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of side tangented it by talking about Aunt May, but I was...
And North Korea.
North Korea. That is easily my favorite scene in No Way Home.
That was cathartic.
That, I almost cried right then and there, just like full face sobbing when that happened. And that, it was simultaneously happy tears and sad tears and trauma, and that was therapy and trauma happening at the exact same time.
I think I might have scared the mother that was sitting next to me. Because like she was just there to take her kid.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was just like, yes!
When she falls, I was like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. We're getting the Spider-Man thing. And then they take Tom Holland out of it. And I froze. And I was like, oh no. I'm like gripping the seats around me. I'm like, oh no. And then Andrew goes for it. And I was like, come on, man, you can do it. You can do it. And he gets her and they land. And I'm like sweating. I was like, oh my God. And then he's like, are you okay?
Like, are you okay?
Yeah, and then, like, she's like, yeah, I'm good. And then you see him tear up. He was like, are you okay? And he's like,
nope, I'm not.
I was like, I can tell you for one thing, I certainly am not. I was stressed watching that, but I was like, at the same time it happened, and I was like, he did it.
He did it.
He did it. There's too many emotions in that one. I can't even like phrase like why that scene's so good. It just is. It just is so good. I'm so glad they had it.
It's growth. It's learning.
Yeah.
It's what Spider-Man's all about.
It's closure that scene, to what could have been. It's therapy for him.
Yeah. And he's learned too from like, cuz I don't know if you remember, like he just went for the web.
Yep, exactly. I was thinking about that.
This time he dove right for her.
Yep, dove right for her, grabbed her, as opposed to trying to save her that way.
Yeah.
He learned from his mistakes, and it's not that he moved on, but he found closure knowing that Tom Spider-Man didn't have to go through...
He didn't want him to end up like him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I would watch an Amazing Spider-Man 3.
I would absolutely watch an Amazing... I have been saying for years that Amazing Spider-Man 3 should happen, especially since...
I want Kevin Feige to have his, like, hawk eye. Wow, Chris, wow. I want Kevin Feige to be watching the production like a hawk.
Absolutely, 100%.
I don't want any interference like last film.
Nope.
Yeah.
Keep it clean, keep it together.
Yeah.
But I think there should... you got a trilogy for Toby. I almost just said Tommy, and I'm like, that's not his name.
Tommy McGuire-Holland?
Tommy McGuirland. But Tom now has a trilogy. Toby got a trilogy. Yeah. I think Andrew deserves to have the same.
Yeah.
Especially, and I know that,
if he wants to.
You know that man wants to.
Does it? I don't believe a word he says anymore. I don't trust him.
Hey, with the amount that he kept up the lie, you know he wants the role. He didn't want Marvel to come snip his little head off.
Well, he could definitely be back for Secret Wars.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think we'll see Toby and Andrew again.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad about that.
Listen, we're bringing Hugh Jackman back for Wolverine.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ.
Why not?
All right, I need to know what your opinion on recasting Wolverine is.
I don't know. Like, I don't even know who you pick.
This is very different than Amazing Spider-Man, but I need to say this. I will be pissed if they recast Wolverine. I don't think there is anyone who could do a better job than Hugh Jackman is, especially if you add more into it. Because he's done this role for so long that no matter who you pick, no matter how good of a job they do, they're, like, at this point, just don't do any more Wolverine stuff. You have done the Wolverine story. They've done it well, and Hugh Jackman has done it as Hugh Jackman can.
At the same time, though, if you want to do X-Men in the MCU, how do you do it without Wolverine?
It's true. That's true.
But
I know for a fact that no matter who they pick for it, I am not going to like it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, back in the day, a lot of people my age were like, you know what? Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. There's no one else that can do Spider-Man.
That's true.
And here we are now.
And here we are, defending the honor of Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. And here we are. I was
Spider-Man.
like, when they said, like, Tom Holland, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. And, I like Tom Holland, but I still love Andrew Garfield better.
Yeah. I remember when Tom Holland got cast, I think I was like, he's not going to be as good, but I figured that he was going to do something different with it because I figured that there was no way they were just going to do the same thing in Marvel.
Yeah.
So I was like, he'll be all right with what he has. But I was like, on his own, he's not going to be as good on his own, but I think including him in with everything that's going on in Marvel, they'll do a good job with him.
There was a post I made all those years ago. It was an editorial on that film review blog that I have, where I was like kind of against Spider-Man joining the MCU at the time. And it's aged horribly, and no one please look it up. Actually, I'm going to delete it the second we're done. I'm deleting it.
There you go.
Well, I think I was just mad because they were recasting Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. Understandable.
I wanted them to just like
kind of pivot him into it.
Yeah, I wanted them to pivot Amazing Spider-Man into the MCU.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They did.
In a way...
Math years later.
Yeah.
In a way I did not expect.
In a way that was unexpected, but I think that what they did do was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because I think they couldn't have gotten No Way Home if they had immediately put Andrew in instead of I keep wanting to call him Tommy. Instead of Tom. I don't think, like, if they had immediately gone for Andrew into the MCU, we wouldn't have gotten the masterpiece that is No Way Home.
Yeah.
Because you already have, like, this overly gritty character, not overly, beautifully gritty character. And I think that's a very different vibe than what the rest of the MCU had at the time, that it wouldn't have fit in nearly as well. Yeah. So I think it could have fit, but then also having him this many years later, and then with everything he's learned and everything he's done, and then having the ability to include Tobey in it as well. So you have two Spider-Men, and then, a third one, mentor-mentee relationship that you see within the other two, where you see the other two have their mentor-mentees. It's a very different pivot to have Spider-Man's mentor be Spider-Man.
Yeah. I don't know if it would have worked as well without both of them.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I think having, like I said earlier, having, like, a Peter Parker mentor and a Spider-Man mentor, having both of them kind of, and also, all three of them together are so funny. I love the three of them together so much.
They have amazing chemistry.
All three of them do. They're incredible. Some of my favorite scenes in No Way Home are just towards the end of just the three of
them talking.
Just the three of them talking.
Yeah.
That's just easily some of the best stuff that came out of No Way Home. Are you going to go into battle looking like a youth pastor?
I love
That's such a good line. And then just kind of the slow, like, pulling down the shirt to show that he has the suit on underneath.
I love Tom and Andrew's fascination with the fact that Tobey doesn't have mechanical web shooters. It just comes out of his body.
Yup.
And it becomes this whole weird thing. It's like, so you have your own web fluid in your body? and he's like, I don't want to talk about this.
No, one of my favorite lines is just Andrew being like, no, you guys are so cool. Like, you got... like, you're part of the Avengers, and you fought, like, these really cool villains, and, like, no, you are amazing.
Yeah.
That is my favorite line in No Way Home.
It was a redemption tour for the Amazing Spider-Man.
It really was. Like, these movies needed it.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that they got it.
So
you
good.
Are amazing. Just totally.
Literally, you are the Amazing Spider-Man.
It's like, yeah, he is. I remember just in my chair just going, yeah, he is.
I love... I don't want to brag, but I was in the Avengers, and then you hear Tobey go, "The Avengers? That's great!" And for a hot second, I'm like, "They exist in the Raimi trilogy?" I was like, "Wait, what does that mean? Can we have an early 2000s Avengers film with like Tom Cruise as Iron Man?" And then he's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh,
damn it!"
Never had my hopes gone so far, and then shot down so quickly.
I love that. That's so much. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Peter 3. The three of them
Just
together.
shows how clueless he can be without his Gwen Stacy.
Oh, I love these three together so much. Oh, they are wonderful together.
It's not even like a funny line, but I just love how he just like runs over to like pick Tom up. He's like, "What the hell is going on out there? I keep yelling at you." And he's like picking Tom up, and Tom is like so much pain.
It's so good. So good.
Just put the three of them. They don't even have to play Spider-Man. Just put the three of them together in a film.
Oh my god, yes.
Do like a Three Stooges, oh brother, where art thou type film.
Oh, please. Yes, please.
It'd be fine.
Oh, I love these three together so much. I also love all of the press stuff of, like, Toby basically just, like, looking like the dad of the group. Where it's like,
is.
Exactly, where Tom and Andrew are just, they're feeling so good, they're so excited, and then just Toby's like,
And Toby's like, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time.
It's been a few years since I did this.
The my back scene.
Oh, I love that.
It's become true.
It's like, want me to crack your back? That scene is so good. Oh, yeah, that was good.
You want me to crack it? Yeah, that'd be great. I love how in both Spider-Man episodes of this podcast, it just goes from talking about one Spider-Man film to all the Spider-Man films.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna talk Spider-Man, you've got so many. I'm glad.
Well,
we've talked Toby, we've talked Andrew, we've talked Tom, we've brought Spider-Verse into this.
Yeah.
They are, even without intentionally, they're all connected to each other.
Yeah. No, it's true. And they all have the same message.
Yeah.
Some say it better than others.
What's that message? Can you
No.
vocalize it for me?
No.
With great responsibility comes great power.
I could say it. No, I could say it the way Martin Sheen's Uncle Ben says it, which is like a coded way. If you have the no, I can't even remember it. Not choice, responsibility. Oy.
Oh yeah.
We've been through a lot tonight.
We have.
Yeah.
What a conversation it's been.
What a great, and this is a great conversation.
It is.
Yeah. Now what's the next Spider-Man film we're gonna talk about?
There's one, I don't even know what it's called. There's a movie starring Drake Bell, who he basically becomes
What
like,
are you talking about?
Spider-Man, but it's like a total parody of every Spider-Man movie.
What is this?
I don't know what it's called. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. But it's like, a total, like, parody of Spider-Man movies starring Drake Bell.
Is this real?
Yeah, it's like from some time.
Is this a Funny or Die sketch?
Possibly. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's called Superhero Movie.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
After here's the Google. It's from 2008. Here's the Google description.
It's like scary movie, date movie, like those. Okay,
I've seen like clips of this a lot. After a bite from a genetically altered insect gives him superhuman abilities, teenage loser Rick Riker, played by Drake Bell, decides to use his powers for good. Donning an uncomfortably tight costume, Rick becomes a mysterious crime fighter known as the Dragonfly, but standing in the way of truth, justice, and the American way is an evil villain known as the Hourglass, who plans to become immortal by sucking the life force out of anyone who gets in his way. Yeah, and it's starring Drake Bell, and Kevin Hart is also in it.
You know what? That's a movie that doesn't matter.
It has a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
I will tell you, though, you should watch the Spectacular Spider-Man series.
I've heard it's very good.
It is very good.
I've watched some of it, but I never got, like, deep into it.
2 seasons, 13, 16 episodes apiece. My favorite Spider-Man.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't he also voiced by Drake Bell, though, in that show?
No, Drake Bell voices him in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ah, that one. I knew there was a Drake Bell iteration of him.
And he voices him in the Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes cartoon.
Yes.
Another very good cartoon that was cut down in its prime.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we've
All right.
reached the end
I think we can wrap it up
of our
here.
spider journey.
of our spider journey across the
Across the
Spider-Verse
Spider-Verse.
into the Garfield verse.
We gonna talk about Garfield movies now?
Oh God, please no! I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna touch that one with a 39.5-foot pole. No, thank you.
39.5-foot pole. I understood that reference.
Whoa! It's not like it's Christmas time or anything.
And that's all, folks.
And there you go. But wrap it up. Nice little bow on the end. We've said it enough times, and it's incredibly cliche at this point.
You're really gonna say it again?
But we all know what it is. With great power comes great responsibility, and you really, like... I think the Andrew Garfield ones do a great job of digging that in because of how much responsibility they really show with it. While, like, if you take the Tom Holland ones, they kind of give it to him towards the end of his story, where it's like, you really see him grappling with responsibility in the third one.
Yeah.
That's where the most of the responsibility comes in. But with Andrew Garfield, you see it right out the gates.
Yeah.
And you see him grow his power, and you see him, like, connect with the world around him more, as opposed to just kind of, okay, he's doing this now. Yeah. It's, you see kind of what it's like to struggle with your power, what it's like to struggle with your responsibility, and kind of coming into it on your own. And kind of, you have the help around you, you just need to see it, and once you've connected to it, it all comes back to you. Your help, the ones you help can help you as well, and you can connect those around you, those can connect to you, whether you're a superhero, whether you're a person on the street, no matter who you are, you have some power and you have some responsibility. Do with it what you will.
Do with it what you will. Perfect. Thank you, Liz, as always, for taking time to come back to BCAT.
Thank you for having me back,
Get me back in this podcast studio.
Of course.
I promise to you and to anyone that listens that I won't wait till she comes back from school again to do another one.
Hey, I'm happy to be a co-host on this at this point.
I love when you come back because we always have great conversations.
Highlights of my break.
Yeah, thank you. I don't have the end tag. But yeah, folks, if you like what you hear, feel free to shoot me an email at moviesthatmatterpod@gmail.com. Movies That Matter Pod also on Instagram. And, I mean, I've said this all the time. The Twitter is Movies That Matter, but take the second T out of that. So it sounds like you're saying Movies That Matter with a
Movies That Matter.
Yeah, with a weird Tommy Wiseau accent.
Movies That Matter.
Yeah. And remember, folks, the world is crazy out there. Just take some time to escape into your favorite movie or TV show. Entertainment is subjective, and that's not a bad thing. Happy New Year. This has been Movies That Matter. I've been your host, Chris Flaherty, with my buddy Liz Gillespie. Thank you, and good night.